welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This is. Do you want to use your Instagram stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your Instagram handle? Like, where can they find it? Yeah. Can't even fucking talk. Holy shit. Okay.
So I go by Brylee, and so my OnlyFans handle is the Brylicious.
Okay. And then we have Lee, producer, Leland.
What up, fam?
Yeah, let's go.
Have you on the show, Bree?
Thank you.
Right. So we'll just get started. How you and I know each other for a small amount of time, 2 or 3 years ago, and you and I kind of developed a friendship, and then I think they let you go, right? Which was a kind of a fucked up thing. But
no,
you left.
I just didn't go back one day.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, that's typical for that place.
Yeah.
But anyway, I kind of got to see on the social media end you grow into what you have today.
Yeah.
So, how did you get into it? What was the decision to do that?
Oh Lord, I kept having people say, "Wow, you have a lot of content. You should do an OnlyFans," and I just kept hearing about it.
Yeah.
Funny story. I didn't actually know exactly what people put on it until a couple months into it. My friend's like, "Well, aren't you gonna, put more on there?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you mean." So yeah, and now I'm very comfortable with it.
So, I don't have an OnlyFans, nor would I, but only because I don't know how it all works. I know through kind of the OnlyFans explosion, where it's become more mainstream. I know they have, girls in just pictures or guys in whatever they do, and then you got girls in toys, and then they have like the full-on dill. So if you were, selling your OnlyFans, and if you want to talk about it, you can, or if not, no big deal.
Yeah.
What kind of content are they buying when you subscribe to you?
It's been all over the map. It's
Okay.
been like a year and a half of doing this.
Okay.
So I've tried a free one, and with that you can actually charge for the posts, or if you charge for your subscription, then you can't charge for the posts, but you can still sell your content and the messaging. So I've kind of stuck to that. I do a $10 a month subscription. For a while, I had a couple people helping me, and they kept all the nudity off the wall and just kind of sold in the messaging.
Right.
I personally just thought, well, I think people would want to subscribe more if there's stuff on the wall.
Right.
And I'm not great at messaging, so.
I know this.
I need very funny. So yeah, so I need people to want to subscribe to see what's being put on there, because I'm not going to sit and sell everybody everything every day. And so I've put quite a bit. I've made a lot of content with my boyfriend. There was a few months when we were recording nightly.
Okay.
And I've got over a year's worth of stuff that a lot of people haven't seen because I don't sell. So I have a lot of content. I think so. On the wall is mostly, the upper top being like nude. I've done a few pictures with like fully nude, and I've done a couple videos. But as far as like full on, like sex, I haven't really put any full videos on my wall. But I do get asked for them, and then I will.
So do you manage your own OnlyFans, or do you have someone else that does that for you?
I actually have gone through about 3 management companies, with each one kind of having an issue in itself. 2 of them were overseas, like a couple guys from Denmark and then a guy from Spain. And then I had a local, not local, but like in the States guy. And I like having control over what I'm posting. And, I have a lot of people that have gotten on there and they'll message and get really confused as to why I'm responding the way I am. And
Really?
Yeah.
Like, why though?
Well, because it was always the management companies doing the messaging. And so, they
But it's probably pretty cookie cutter on their end to get someone to buy additional content, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, I think I had a guy I didn't know had subscribed, and he's just like, I haven't seen you forever, and saying stuff, and like, I was just like, kept going, kind of about their script, I guess, to sell,
Right.
and I think it was really confusing for him. So I felt kind of bad.
So it's not a personal, like, actual you texting.
It wasn't when I had a management
Right.
company, but it is now. And
Okay.
I do try to get on daily and message, but it's just with the posting, or like I take my own photos, I edit my own photos and videos, and I, do my own marketing, and there's posting on all the social media, and then posting on OnlyFans, and then messaging on all of them. And yeah, it's been more than a full-time job.
Well, thanks for responding to me and then coming on the show because I connected with Lee, and I've told this story a million times on this podcast, so I won't go too much into it, but I was talking about these 26 ideas of people we wanted to have on, and we've been pretty successful getting a good random amount of people doing different things. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I always want is like I have to get an OnlyFans girl. And everyone's like, why? And like, do you subscribe? And I was like, no. Because I find this whole industry so fascinating because you are literally removing corporate pornography out of the picture, and people are making pretty damn good money doing it. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's just, the inner entrepreneur in myself. I'm just like, oh, this is cool. I need to figure this out. I need to get someone. So you're the very first.
Very nice. Thank you.
So this will be a very like rememberable type episode. And then once you were like, yeah, I'll come on. And then I gave you the date. We actually, through a work associate, has another one coming on, but I don't think she is anywhere near into it like you are.
Yeah, it got a little crazy for a minute. I've never been super dedicated to anything I've done, so it's kind of funny that it's been porn, but I mostly have just, I had quite a bit of weight loss and just started having a lot of fun taking photos. And then my guys from Denmark were, they were just like, we're going to blow you up on TikTok and do this and that. And I'm like, no, I don't record myself. And now it's all I do. So,
right.
So now I'm super comfortable on just being recorded, doing anything.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I could relate, not obviously doing the porno stuff. I don't think anyone would pay to see this naked. So I think we're okay.
You'd be surprised.
That I agree with, though. I have another friend where we've kind of joked around about her doing an OnlyFans, and she's like, well, I don't know what I would do. And I was like, well, let's just figure out like the worst possible thing you can do and see if it sells. To this day, we've never executed this idea, but I wanted, like, I heard like guys buy like women's bath water.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
it's nuts what I get. Yeah. The
right.
things that you get asked for, like spit and
yeah.
There's a lot of weirdos.
Oh, for sure. But like so basically the idea we came up with was 2 nugs in a jar, which not copyrighted. So if anyone wants to take this idea, just make sure you give me some tribute to this. But we were joking around basically like 2 turds in a jar. So that's where we got 2 nugs in a jar. So for her and I, it's an inside joke, but I actually have another friend who was dead serious about doing this. Eventually fell off because of some relationship issues plus custody of kids, and was worried that the baby daddy would yank that real quick. So she backed out of it, which was fine. But yeah, she's like, yeah, you can be my manager. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, yeah, we'll create it, and then I'll send you all the photos, and then we'll put the photos on there. And then, like, I guess, like, they text you and stuff. I'm like, I don't have time during the day to text people.
No.
Like, for, like, what I do currently, yeah, like, no. Like, I have millions of phone calls to text. I'm like, that's your deal. And she's like, okay. And then nothing ever happened to it. So, anyway, long story short, when we kind of kicked off this podcast here in the studio, yeah, I was like, I got to get an OnlyFans. And then I'm like, I've got to get my friend. Have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is like, it's fun that you're interested and excited about it, because I kind of am too. And the guys from Denmark kind of put it in a good way. They're like, anybody can go to Pornhub and watch porn, but people go to OnlyFans because they get to watch your life.
Yeah.
They get to watch what you're doing.
Right.
They get to interact with you.
Right.
So now they're watching someone that they're familiar with
Right.
do porn. And sometimes that's more of a turn on for somebody than just watching random people try to act. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Pornhub you can't do in Utah anymore.
Well,
you can.
You have to already have an account,
But
and then you can just log in.
But okay.
Yeah.
Because I heard like if you just go to the website, it doesn't work because of the stupid government shit that they do here.
Well, there was that lady thing that was blocking it, and now you go and you have to do an age verification.
Oh, so okay, so that's the workaround.
Yeah,
okay.
But you don't have to do that. Like I said, if you've already got an account, because you have to verify on there that you're of age anyway.
Right.
So that's kind of how I think. I didn't realize that at first, so I actually got one of the apps and age verified through that, and you can get on everything. But yeah, you can log on without.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Have you, like, being that you've been on OnlyFans, do you ever are you able to like look at other people's stuff like once you have an account, like if it's free?
Yeah, you can subscribe to anyone's if it's free, and then you can like a lot of people, like I'll do for the month of February. I did it's the month of love. You can get a free month whenever,
right?
And so I've just kind of added more and more free as people have actually gotten on and subscribed. So, and then after that, like even if you subscribe for free and then someone makes it a pay one, it does not automatically charge you.
Right.
So I think you do have to put a credit card in, and then you just turn your renew off or renew on.
Right.
Monthly. So yeah.
You can buy, like you could just click and buy like normal though, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Like I said, I don't know how this all works out. I actually, Lee, I want to test this out though.
What's that?
Like, we got to come up with a really fucked up idea and put it on OnlyFans and like see what it's all about, and then post about it. Like
we can post like my feet or maybe just my toes.
Oh, you'll get hits on feet for sure. Like I've done camming, and I had a guy that was like, "Put your feet up at the camera." I'm like, I have so many other body parts that are way more interesting to look at.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Feet fetishes have always like.
It's weird.
There's just it's crazy that people like feet.
I'm in the same boat. Like I don't get it, but teach their own. I'm not going to judge.
And they'll pay like $50 a picture, or like these guys. Yeah, the ones that like feet are
so crazy.
Spend money on it.
Bro, I'm telling you, we should like sell our bathwater and feet pics, like whatever it takes. Like, let's just try it.
Do you think like we're past like the age of like the big porn stars? Because there's just so many like adult actresses out there now that
I don't know.
Like back in the day with like, let's say like a Jenna Jameson, like it was kind of forced that, that she's like the main one for everyone.
You knew who they
watch.
were.
We're now like anyone can have an OnlyFans, so you kind of cut the middleman out.
Mm-hmm. Lee, who's Jenna Jameson?
Jenna Jameson?
No, I'm joking.
I'm like, wait, what?
I'm totally joking.
No, I don't think we're past it, because like I don't know, I didn't always watch a lot of porn. I kind of do now, and you get your favorites that you like to watch, and I think so. I don't know that. Obviously, there's not like a specific Jenna Jameson.
I'm just saying like the pool is bigger with many more, because it's like that with everything. It's like that with music. Mm-hmm. Like back in the day when there was a Michael Jackson, there'll never be anyone that can sell as many records as Thriller, because there's so many people that are just making music in their basement, and
it's so saturated.
Right.
Yeah, everything is. Yeah.
So the internet's kind of just changed everything. Pretty much.
Yeah, no, it has. And you're right. Like OnlyFans, it being so, you get to interact with that person. It's like some people, just prefer that over getting on and watching porn. I mean, I have been offered quite a bit of money to make porn. I don't think I would. I like being in control of what I'm putting on, who I'm doing anything with and what I'm doing. And so I get to do that. Whereas you like walk on a set and you kind of just do what they tell you.
Well, I feel like, and I could be wrong on this, I feel like being that you get to control the content, you know, at some point, you know, if you were in a relationship, there's some stuff you still want to keep private. Like, and I feel like old school way of doing porn and everything would be like, none of that stuff was ever private anymore. So, you know, like if, like as a regular guy, if I were to, you know, get into a relationship with a porn star, like you're watching this person have sex on camera. As a guy standpoint, you know, and there's many guys out there like that, like what can I do differently to please this girl? She does everything else on camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm sure there's some things you have that are private that you don't want to.
I mean, kind of. The only person that I have on mine is
your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to be on there with a bunch of different
Right.
people, and so even if you know him and I, you know, stopped dating, I probably would just do solo content for quite some time until I found, because you know I wouldn't want to keep running through someone. So until I find someone again that is comfortable with it and that we're just doing it, I wouldn't want to be on there with anyone else. And him and I are just like, we've always just been really good at sex. So I've always just thought, well, everyone should be able to see this. So we don't have a lot that's private. Like, yeah, everybody kind of knows. Yeah, I have no shame. Everybody knows just about everything in my life. So.
Well, I feel like, you know, when you start to see the progression from like porn to the webcam stuff to the OnlyFans stuff, like I feel like sex is not the taboo thing that it was before.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, the whole world is at the tip of your fingers on your phone. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but just 10 years ago, it was still like, no. And now it just seems year by year, it's just another thing.
Yeah.
And I think if people knew just how much money is in that industry, like it's insane.
Oh yeah. No, there's a lot to be had, and kind of like that people don't know. Because, you know, because by the time that they do, I'll probably be old, and that's great. But yeah, I haven't had any problem kind of just saying that I have an OnlyFans, and maybe I should. I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
But you own it though. I mean, like I feel like people who don't own their own shit and let their own like freak flag fly, you know, fucking who cares?
Yeah.
One thing I've had people come to me recently about watching or listening to this show, and I am completely unfiltered. I don't give a shit. Like the person you met back then is the same person now.
Yeah.
You know, and they come to me and they're like, well, some of the things you say you shouldn't say. And I'm like, no, don't listen if you don't want to hear it. You know, like someone told me like, you use the word retard a lot. And I'm like, okay. I'm not like, I'll explain this to you like to that person once and then that's it. But I will continue to use that word. I am not making fun of people who are handicapped. Yeah. Retard to me is equivalent to like dumbass.
Yeah.
But dumbass is a very old school word.
Yeah. You're not being offensive to someone who actually, I guess, would be considered that. You know, no, I don't think anybody does that.
But like I've done clean shows where I haven't sworn at all due to like the respect of the guest and like having like the pre-show talks, like kind of like what we did. But then normally like if they're people will come to us and like, can we swear? And I'm like, you have no idea. Just wait till we get on camera. Like you're good. But like for those people, it's like if you don't like it, don't watch it. Turn the channel.
Yeah.
Like everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like if you're not a fan, get the fuck out.
I feel that way about just me in general. I'm like, if you don't like what I do or who I am or what I say or how I talk, you don't have to be in my life.
You've always been that person though, and I've always respected that.
Thank you.
Where like in the environment where I met you, the other people that were involved, a lot of them were so fake. So fake.
Yeah.
Or, you know, to me they were like pretenders.
Yeah.
They would act like they would do these big things and it's like, no. cool you have a day job. I think that's great, but you're here doing this, and don't act like you're bigger than what you truly are.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Or they just want you to think that they're such an amazing person, and then, and then you see something else, and it's like, I just have never wanted to be that person.
Right.
If you know me, and then I don't have to like kind of worry that someone heard a comment I made or is like, oh, you talked behind my back. Yeah, I might have. I actually probably did, but like I would say it to your face too. So
right.
I don't know.
I love that. Well, I heard you were talking shit, and I always tell people, can you give me the example? I don't recall. There's a lot that happens in a day-to-day deal. If I did, you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
If I'm doing it, I'll like you, I'll still say it to your face, but I'm doing it because I'm calling something out, and the context I'm talking about, like for me, is like work related. Outside of work is a different story. I don't usually have opinions on other people because I just don't care. I just have my own lane that I stay in. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was just crazy the environment that you were in, like where you and I met. Because I just remember like one of your first days, or at least the first day I saw you working. Here's this girl with this spunky fucking hair, and I was just like, "Hey, she's cool. She doesn't care." Like I think your hair was like just purple back in the day, right?
Yeah.
But you had so many different like shades of purple too, and you were always changing it up. And I was like, "Damn, that's cool."
Yeah. No, I think it's fun. For a while, it was just like I'd put like a streak of color here and there, and then once I did full color, I tried to go back to a normal color, and I just was so bored with myself. I'm like, I don't think I can do that anymore. I've got to at least keep my hair a crazy color,
right?
And then maybe I can be normal, kind of normal day to day, but like.
But who wants to be normal when you can just be yourself?
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of, I just don't. I think I made a comment to a friend once, and I was just like, I don't know why people have to like be in everyone else's business. It's like, don't worry about me. I don't care about you.
Right.
Like, I'll let you know if I do.
Right.
Or like, you'll know how I feel about you. I'm not going to go tell someone else and hope you don't hear. Like, I may tell someone else, but if you ask me about it, I'm going to be like, yeah, I would have told you that.
Right.
I just don't care to take time out of my day to tell you that. But if you hear it, it's something I probably would have said to you too.
Right. I feel though with like the image you have now, seeing what I see like on Instagram, like you have a specific look. Like the hair itself is what separates you from anyone else. Because like I can get on my feed and I can just start scrolling, and then requested or not requested friends, sometimes requested friends, but like people you may know, and then I get people that are selling the OnlyFans stuff as well, and I'm like, what separates you from anyone else? And I was like, and then here's old Bride, just bright ass hair, love it. So
here I am. Yeah, it is fun. Like, I don't know, it does kind of, I guess, separate me from other people, because sometimes you're just like, I don't know, like you can be told you have a unique look or whatever, but it's like, but that is something where it's like, that is unique.
It's a signature for sure, and I would keep rocking it until you don't feel like you need to do it anymore. So when you got into the like before the OnlyFans stuff, you were doing like, because I remember you had like a bunch of posts and doing that deal. How did you figure out the equipment, the cameras, the whole nine? I'm super interested because this setup we have here is what, Lee, like version 5 million. I mean, we've gone through. I mean, when we started this, it was one of these Canon cameras, my mixer, 2 iPhones, and that's how we were recording. And now it's like turned into this like mega production.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely like evolves. I first just got a ring light and just started taking photos, and then I've just kind of, I've got the big lights from Amazon. Realized that lighting is actually basically the biggest part of it.
Yep.
If you have good lighting, you can kind of take pictures with whatever and make them look good. I don't edit a lot on my pictures, but I do edit every photo just because I want it to look clean and look good. And I do get asked a lot, like, oh, who's your photographer? And I'm like, it's me and my ring light and my little photo button. I don't like people to take photos of me because I like to see my face.
Right.
And so I like to put my phone in front of me and see the picture I'm taking. I've had photographers take photos, and I haven't used them because I just like mine.
Well, I feel like first of all, I think it's awesome you do your own editing, all that stuff. I feel like when you get into someone else taking a picture of you, in a sense, it's like their own fucking opinion of you. Mm-hmm. Where you are doing it, you know what you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. You can set your mode, your mood, the whole nine. So that's cool. I really like that. Yeah. Have you upgraded any of your equipment though? Like, do you use like cameras or do you use your phone? Like, what do you? Yeah,
I just use my phone. I mean, once I've got the iPhone 14 Pro Max there. It's the best camera, but I don't even use the camera on the back of my phone. I use the front one, so I think it's basically kind of the same camera in all of them if you're not using the back.
Right.
So I've only just ever used my phone. I thought about getting a camera, and I'm like, I don't know why I would. Like, my phone works just fine. You know, there's 25,000 photos and videos in my iPhone, and it's basically just pictures of me and a lot of porn. and like, I don't even really have much of my kids in there anymore. Right. It's like, it's on overload, but but it's nice and easy. You just click a bunch of pictures and you can go back through and, and you don't have to have a camera and load everything on and then look through them and then edit them.
Right.
I like that it's just on my phone. Anywhere I go, I can just whip my phone out and edit a few photos and post a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't have to go through to the computer, back to the phone. And
so when you and I met, you know, like you would show me some of the stuff like your daughter was doing on TikTok, and your daughter's super fucking talented at that.
Yeah.
I would love to like sit down and talk with her once this thing kind of takes off to see if she would be willing to help us out on that end too. Mm-hmm. But being that you've kind of transitioned into the business that you're in now, has there been any like type of restraint on that type of relationship, or is she pretty open to? Oh
no, she's not a strain at all. She definitely tells people like, oh, my mom's an aspiring porn star, and I'm like. I'm like, well, she's not wrong, kind of. I mean, I'm not that, but it's funny that she's just like, whatever. Like, she doesn't care.
Good.
You know, none of my kids they've kind of taken on, I guess, my outlook on life, where it's just like, this is my life. Fuck you.
It's so funny because for me personally, when I grew the most as a person is literally when I stopped giving a shit what other people thought.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, hey, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you either accept it or you don't, and if you don't, exit stage left, like you're good.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I've had to get to because, you know, I have done things that are a little more taboo and things that some people would have, you know, if you make an enemy, they can hold that over your head. And it's like, so I've told family, I've told everyone, like, I don't want them to hear about things that I do from anyone else. So it's like, I'd rather they know and just like, you know, just absorb that for a minute. And, you know, I have recently had someone try to sell me out. And I'm just like, well, everyone already knows. So do your worst.
Like, have you had any other like extended family, like, not want to associate with you because of this? Because I figure in the state of Utah, that would be like the number one thing that would happen.
Yeah. And I mean, if I hadn't fought for the last 20 years to just get them to accept that and realize I'm not changing no matter what anyways, you know, that could have been a problem. But because my family is super religious and, you know, it's really nice when another sibling takes that light off of you. And I did have one do that. So they kind of don't pay attention to me much anymore. You know, he was complaining, oh, and I'm like, it took me 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, strap in. Like, you're not going to be happy with the whole family for a while till they accept this is just who you are.
Did that person also get into like the OnlyFans thing too?
No. He just came out as gay. So
that's like the least. I get it coming from Utah. Like, I totally understand.
Yeah. Well, to me, I was a little shocked that they kind of took that so hard. Like, I've kind of put them through just about everything they could go through.
Right.
So it's like, really, that's what you're freaking out about?
Right.
But yeah, they just kind of at this point they're just kind of like, oh yeah, that's just her. which I love. So.
And then the other thing I was going to ask you too is, you know, with personal relationships, like you said, you're in a relationship now. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you were in a relationship back when you kind of started this journey. how has the reception been with, you know, that part of your life? Because I can see where, you know, as a guy that they'd be like, I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, they're like, I'm done. I'm not going to stand by you and do this. And then there's others that are really more open to it, which I think is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, like, how's that like, what has happened in your life that would?
I mean, I've been fortunate to be with somebody who, you know, has been along for the ride, and, you know, has, like, there was one time when he, you know, kind of started complaining a little bit about, like, we're up every night and recording, and I go, I'm sorry, are you complaining about having sex every day? And so, like, I've given him a little bit of shit about that, but I mean, if guys really thought about it, is it that bad that you're having to have sex so that the person you're with can make money? I mean, you know, and people don't have to show their face, and you don't have to.
Right.
People don't have to know who you are. Some people even have an OnlyFans, and they don't show their face at all, so you have no idea who you're even looking at. And they're just showing their bodies, and they just like to do that. And yeah, with him and I, it's just, you know, we're both kind of the same type of position in our families,
right?
And we're both just kind of like, nobody gets shocked about things that we do anymore.
Right.
So
I kind of like the idea, though, of not showing your face. I feel like, if for me personally, if I were to get in shape, they'd be like, wow, that's a good body. And then you see my face, and they're like, damn, he looks like he has Down syndrome. Like, he's got a touch of the DS. And I'd be like, no, you get it. That's why I don't show it. No,
right.
totally joking.
Well, yeah, no, I'm sure that some people might not want to, you know, and so it's like, for me, there's parts of my body I'm insecure about, and so sometimes I bank on that people will like me for my face.
Right.
And just kind of like, you know, obviously they're getting on there for other reasons.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a exciting and a draw for me to be posting, and that people know it's me, and that I make these custom videos for guys, and they're paying me to see me do things, and a lot of the times just say their name while I'm doing it. And yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's that damn service you can pay a celebrity to give you like a shout out? That's what that reminds me of.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's funny though. Take us through like a standard day. Like, how many hours? Because you talked about, you know, doing this all day long, all night long, you know, and then obviously coming up with different ideas and different looks and everything. What does it take to pull off what you pull off in a day?
Well, I've definitely, you know, pulled back a little from what I was doing. Now it's kind of just like, I was trying to get it to take off. So, because there's other things that I was going to try to quit doing and have this be a replacement. But at this point, it's like, it's just, I've kind of accepted that it's just kind of fun for me, and not been so stressed out about whether or not I'm making a good amount at a time. So before it was like 24/7. I was always doing something. I was always on the phone. Like, my eyes have started going bad because I'm always looking at my phone. It was probably, you know, 10 hours or more on my phone. That's what my screen time says.
Really?
So yeah, it was a lot.
Wow.
I mean, I grew my Instagram pretty quickly. You know, I'm up to about 20,000 followers, and that's about a year and a half. And it surprises people. It surprised me. And that was the platform I worked on the most, because I got banned from Twitter at first.
I think I got banned from Twitter too, but mine was more, I fully admit, like, when I have this want or need to go on and troll people, I am fantastic at it. And without getting into like political ideology, I would go on Twitter and just destroy people, and then got banned. So I know how it feels.
Yeah. No, mine was just, you know, Twitter is basically porn, but your profile picture and your banner, you're not supposed to have anything like that on there. And I just didn't like, I'll do, like in my editing app, I'll do, you know, kind of a collage of different things. I just didn't notice that the one picture I put on there had a nipple hanging out, and
and they got you.
yeah, I didn't even get a warning. They just nixed me, and I can finally get back on, but they won't allow me to have a business account right now.
So they're basically demonetizing you. That's so crazy because like you look at it, like all the other shit that's on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
There's like beheadings.
Yeah.
You can watch people get bombed. You can watch. I mean, not me personally, but I've heard like there's children being molested on there.
Oh, there's
like it's bad, but they get you for a nipple.
Yeah. Well, on Instagram, like I've kind of given up on putting a ton of effort into that because I get, and I don't know, I'm sure I have made a few enemies in my life, and I get flagged constantly for shit that I think is 100 times less provocative and sexual and, risque than everything I see on there. And it tanks my account every time. There was a point where I was getting 200 to 300 followers a day. And then all of a sudden I got flagged, and I get maybe one a day.
So you're shadow banned is what it's called. Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah. And I'll get like out of it, and I'll get going again really good. And then, and it can just be for stupid things like I'm in a swimsuit, and I'm like it even says technically on Instagram you can show your nipples if you have even just a see-through mesh covering.
Really?
You can. But I am on there in a bikini, and I have to take it off.
You've had to have made an enemy some point.
Oh no,
or
I do.
Couple or thousands.
No, I definitely have a few. So
to me, that's so fucked up though, because they're literally, again talking about staying in your own lane.
Yeah.
It's like to me, it's no different than watching television. If you don't want to watch what's on the fucking channel, turn the channel. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, it's just like I used to say this about my ex-husband. I love that I'm the center of your world, and that you're taking time out of your day to make sure that you're doing something to damage my life. But, it's sad at this point. It's like, it doesn't bother me. It's whatever. If that's what you need to do in life.
But do you feel though that he is the one doing it? Or
No, it's not. It's not my ex-husband. I just used to say that about him. There is a handful of people it definitely could be. And I'm not going to make my account private, and I'm not going to go through 20,000 followers to try to figure it out. So It's like, it just is what it is. And
so I had my Instagram account on private for a long time. And then as we kind of got into doing this, and, I was like, fuck it. I'll just make it public, and then we have our own show Instagram account too. That's also public. But yeah, it's so nuts how that whole thing works. So I don't really know like how the whole Instagram thing works as far as like if you are like a reputable, let's say reputable business, like you can make money from Instagram, right? You can monetize.
Yeah. I mean, at this point I could,
okay.
If I cleaned up my page, like I can't have anything that would go against our community guidelines. They've never like physically taken something down from my account. Mm-hmm. They've just told me, if you want your, what do they call it? If you want to be shown, if your stuff's shown to like the public, that's how you get followers. Then I need to take that stuff off. And so so I can still have my account, but if that stuff is still on my wall, then it's not, my stuff isn't being circulated in the algorithm. And I can go from getting like 100 likes in a day to 5. And so.
But what kills me though is like, I personally, I don't do the stalking thing. I see your videos. I'm like, cool, great. Like she's doing her thing.
Yeah.
What I've seen, the small little sample size of what you have on Instagram, what the fuck would you have to clean up? I don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't have anything on there that's super bad.
No, I don't. That's why I'm like, they haven't even like actually taken anything down. They're just telling me. And that's why I know it's somebody just
fucking
being like,
with you.
Yeah. Because there isn't anything that, like, whatever their bots are that are going to catch and be like, flag this person. It's just somebody that's reporting whatever it is. And then they go through, Instagram supposedly goes through, and they tell me a bunch that I need to take off. And it's just anything suggestively sexual or which a lot of my stuff is. Yeah, you know, if I'm showing cleavage or you know, part of my tits, that's what gets me the views and the likes. 90% of my followers are men.
Right.
You know, I was doing some really fun. I've gotten really into editing and doing the reels on there because it's fun. And I was doing some really fun ones, and I'm like, I'm just not getting the views I was. And then I made one where you can see the back of my top is nude. I don't show anything in the front. And then, you know,
side boob basically.
And
they got you for that.
Yeah. Well, because it blew up, and I was just like, Jesus, within like 5 minutes, I had almost 100 likes, and it was circulating, and it was in the algorithm, it was going. And then once I get flagged, it just tanks, and then hardly anybody's seen my stuff.
That's crazy. Out of your videos and out of your pictures, like what, if you could pick one off the top of your head, which one was like super liked, you know, and how many likes did you get based off of it?
There is one last year when I first got my very first set of extensions, and it was like rainbow hair. I was doing some photos, and I had just pulled my shirt up over my boobs, and I was holding my boobs, so it's like side boob.
Right.
And to this day, this picture has still never gotten flagged. So I think it's because you don't see cleavage, and it's not like giving off the someone's naked vibe. That picture alone has reached, it says, 324,000 accounts.
Wow.
And it has 2,400 likes. And I think it's like 100 and something saves and all these shit. Nothing else that I have on there even comes close.
Really?
But that picture is just like, I don't know. There's something about it. Like, you know, my hair's on point. You can see a side boob, so it's suggestive, but not like, not nude. And yeah, it's a good photo.
So based off that one picture, have you modeled anything in the future to not necessarily copy the photo, but similar to get that kind of feedback?
Yeah, recently I actually just put on another one that is pretty much the same picture, but obviously different hair.
Right.
And same kind of reaction. I was like, okay,
really?
I guess it's the pose or the like I said, the suggestion of I'm naked but I'm not.
I think it's the hair, the side boob, and the imagination of whoever's looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that one got just as much of kind of a reaction as the other one.
You should start another Instagram and call it side boob Bry. And then just do nothing but that.
Bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
I should.
Lee, do you want to go talk to them?
I don't know how it's gonna stop it, dude.
Jesus Christ. Fucking church. Anyway,
no, I should. I do actually have I had 2 backup accounts. The one I can't recover. I don't know what they've done to it. But the other one, you know, I've only got like 400 or 500 followers on there, and yeah, that's a good idea. I could just start posting pictures like that. See how it goes.
Man, I'm full of good ideas now.
Yeah,
whatever for tonight.
I'll give you a shout out for that one.
Do it.
Okay.
we had one video. So I have a friend who, like, I don't know if you're into like the foodie stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So SLC Foodie.
Yeah.
He's like the #1 guy. Good friend of mine. I've known him forever, since high school.
Yeah. And
watched him actually start this from the very beginning and grow it to what it is. We had him on, and then I posted, or we had a little 30-second, 45-second clip that I posted and wanted just to kind of test to see how that was. This will make you laugh, but we got 9,500 views. I thought that was the greatest fucking thing ever. So the day we get 10,000, I'll be real happy, and then 300,000 would be amazing.
Yeah. I think I have, early on, one of my very first reels, I don't know if it was the sound. It's one of the very first one I did. It's like a transition to where, you know, you're wearing a certain thing and all of a sudden you're not in something else.
Right.
It has 44,000 views, and that was before I had, you know, even over 5,000 followers. It just blew up, and I was like, I don't even get that. And I have a few that have, like, you know, I do have the one that's pinned. It's got 66,000 views, but that one, like, I start to kind of pull down my top, and then it starts over. So it's like, it's the anticipation of, oh, she's about to, and then I don't. So I don't know how many people are just letting it keep going.
Right. They're just on play, sitting on the toilet.
Yeah. But yeah, so that one's my most views.
You have any success with TikTok?
Kind of.
They seem a little bit more lenient.
I thought that they were as well.
Not the case?
They were when I first started.
Okay.
Like the guys from Denmark were like,
Right.
we're going to make you TikTok famous. And then
Right.
all of a sudden, that's when TikTok said, nothing. You can't do this. Like, you can't
Wow.
be nude. And so I didn't really put a lot of effort into it. But if you know, I finally just recently learned how to kind of get around stuff and what I can and can't
Right.
show. But I did get banned from TikTok Live pretty quickly. And I didn't even say anything. It's just like I was kind of trying to answer somebody's question about my OnlyFans by being like,
Right.
just go here. We can talk there. And they shut me down and I can't get back on. So,
God, you know what we ought to do? Here's another great idea is you have your list of people that are against you that are probably causing a lot of this shit, which is technically defamation. So when you're ready to do the lawsuit, there's actually a lawyer right across the hall over here.
ooh, no, I've got a lot of, there's one person that basically wrote all my family, friends, my ex-husband sent some of my OnlyFans photos to my kids. Yeah, it was very messed up.
Wow.
And then tried to, kind of come at me for the person I am. And I'm like, how do you think that you can stand and say those things to me when I would never think of doing something like that.
Right.
So that is the one person where I'm like, I would love to go after someone like that.
You should let me know who it is. I'll take care of it for you.
Yeah.
I'm good at trolling.
Then I will.
I'll do a bunch of reconnaissance work and then maybe we'll chat.
Okay.
and let you know what I have in mind.
I like that.
Without disclosing, dollar figures or anything like that, from start to finish where you're at now on your OnlyFans deal, obviously it's been lucrative enough for you to do this full time, I would imagine, right?
At times, yeah.
Okay.
At times. I think from what I've heard, everyone's kind of hurting a little bit right now.
Really?
But I feel like that's almost maybe every part of the sex worker industry.
Right.
From what I've heard, like that's something people just maybe aren't spending money on right now.
Well, it's just crazy because you hear some of the dollar figures that some of these people are making. And, some of them are famous. Some of them got famous because of it.
Yeah.
So to me, I was just always curious because, you have people that have podcasts and stuff that have been doing it for 5 or 6 years and can't get the thing off the ground.
Yeah.
And then you have other people that literally post 2 or 3 pictures and it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, I have worked really hard. I wouldn't say it's taken off to the point where I'm super comfortable and it's the only thing that I can be doing.
Right.
Like I said, it's just at this point fun.
Right.
And it is a nice little side income where I'm like, oh, I need some money, and I just transfer it over, and I don't even think of it as a specific income.
Right.
It would be nice if it had taken off like that, but it is very saturated, and you do have to work a lot. I had a couple from Europe that were helping me, and she's just like, just do this. We're gonna make you 10 TikTok accounts, and then you just post. You do these TikToks and you post them 3 times a day. And I was just like, it was so much
Right.
to be recording all of those, editing all of those, posting on all the TikToks. You can do that and you can get a lot of subscribers. That TikTok brings in a lot. But that's a lot of work. And I like doing the fun stuff,
But see, that's
pictures and stuff.
to me though, that's when it turns into a job. And if it's not something you truly love, and you have all these people pulling you in a million different directions, I can get why you wanted to kind of do this on your own. When you had your, the few different versions of the management doing it, what percentage were they taking off the top? Because I know some of them are ridiculous.
Half. I never got an offer for someone doing it for less than half. But to me at the time, I'm like, that's totally worth it because I was doing so fucking much that I'm like,
right.
You're doing the photos, you're doing editing, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the messaging, you're doing I have gained so many things, knowledge and different things that I'm doing that I didn't have before. I could get a number of jobs that I couldn't get before this. So
right.
I'm grateful for all that knowledge. And so I didn't mind, okay, you guys are doing it all. Take half. That's totally worth it to me.
Right.
But there is some companies that kind of want more or want.
I don't know how, like, unless I saw like the exact business plan on how they've grown other people's accounts.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can look someone in the eye and say, I'm going to take half the money, even though we're doing nowhere near the work.
Yeah. Well, and it is a lot, and it is your face, and it is your risk and
Right.
your reputation. And
Right.
it is, at first I was like, hell no, that's such a chunk. And then obviously I was exhausted and I was like, that's totally worth it. And,
Right.
and each company just kind of fucked up in their own way. The first one, those guys were just, they said that they knew what they were doing. They did not. Turns out they just didn't know what they were doing.
I kind of get the feeling there's a lot of people out there like that.
There is so many scams. And I think I would have done better if I would have had somebody to kind of tell me the things of what to do and not. I've taken a lot of really, really bad missteps in this whole thing. And yeah, I could have done a lot better.
Have you had to like trademark anything?
Like as far as like my content?
Yeah. Or copyright at least.
I mean, OnlyFans puts a watermark on everything.
Okay.
That's
part of the agreement.
That goes on their site.
Because I know they take a chunk too.
They take 20%. So
see, to me, that's more fair.
Yeah.
Like when I was talking with the one girl who was at the time pretty serious of doing it, I told her, I was like, I'll just tell you this right now. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. We can learn as we go. I don't want any money up front until you actually get like popular, if that's the route it goes. And I was happy with 10%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like to me, that's fair. Unless they're like really like flying photographers out or flying you all over or introducing you to new people and doing new content and whatever. Yeah. That where, I can say they got to recoup costs at 50%. That makes more sense.
Yeah. And well, my guy from Spain, he's the one I did not mind giving him half. Like he was barely asking me to do anything. He'd ask me to do like a kind of a progressive video and he would sell that. And he was asking me for like new content maybe once a week, if that. So really? he was just basically doing it on. He made me the most money.
Really?
He got a little shady about the banking, so
yeah, I was like, I can see that.
Yeah, and I understand that because I know a lot of girls will get with these management companies and then they'll just be done.
Right.
And it's your account.
Right.
There's nothing they can do. They may or may not get money. So I understand that it can be nervous on their on a management company's perspective too. But it's like, okay, well then don't do it.
Right. Because I know like in the podcast world, recently there was a company that got bought out by another company that was like a advertising deal where if you signed the deal with them, they would like promote your show and get you advertisers. And then like there were some people like, I don't know if you know who Theo Vaughn is. So he's a stand-up comedian, has his own show. It's like right behind Joe Rogan's as far as popularity. Super funny dude. But he's like, yeah, like I'm 6 figures in missing revenue from advertising. And what was happening was the guy that was running it was taking the money and they were so far behind on paying all the other bills that they weren't able to pay the actual people, like the content creators, their portion, and it just spiraled out of control. So it caused a lot of bullshit. Like you heard about that, Lee, right?
I don't think I did.
You'd have to look that up. It's interesting, but like with us being in that arena, like Lee and I and this other guy, Jaden, that we do this with, who does all the audio and video editing for us too, and he's super good at it. We've always talked about kind of grassroots, do this thing. I don't want investors. I don't want, especially in the beginning, I don't want people telling me what I can say and what I can't say. Yeah. And Dana White from UFC did an interview with Theo, and they kind of had its Peloton thing. That was super interesting. And Dana, if you know anything about Dana White, like he's not going to be told what he can say and can't say.
Yeah.
And that was truly inspiring as like we start to grow this thing. If we do get into the advertising thing, like I will only partner with companies who understand what this show is about. I will not put up with anyone telling me like, hey, we're going to pull our advertising dollars if you don't pull this thing down. And that's what was happening to Theo. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah. I didn't like the third company. I just started noticing, I'm like, you're not posting anything on my wall. And he was like, well, no, they're subscribing for the content you already have on there. You have over 300 photos in these videos. And I go, but why would somebody stay subscribed.
Yeah,
you're not putting anything on
right. You constantly have to put things out.
Yeah, and so I was just like, and then he still wouldn't, or he put like one on in a week, and I'm just like, what am I paying you for?
Yeah,
and you're not. I'm getting on and having to do it, and so why would I give you 50%?
right.
Like, and so so I like having control over it. I like putting one picture on a day or 3, like it. Yeah, I don't want anybody saying no nudity on your wall. We're gonna sell it. No, I want to put nudity on my wall, and then if somebody wants more, then they can ask me, and I'll sell it to them.
Right. Easy concept. And that's what it sounds like. That's what OnlyFans is built to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, God, that's so crazy, though, that I still can't get over the 50-cent deal or 50%.
Oh, yeah. And most companies, it's very rare to find one that will try to take less than 50.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to apologize with the church thing in the background. They are about to ramp up. So I'm going to cut this short. Yeah. It wasn't the intention because I still have a million more questions. I would love to have you back on.
Yeah, I'll come on again.
Might have to do a part 2.
Yeah, because I'm about to lose
I'm about to
lose my temper on
go
this.
Go beat up the Reverend across the hall.
Motherfucker.
I'll film it.
Done. So yeah, I'm going to cut this short now. I'll be in touch. Mm-hmm. Please come back on.
Yeah.
Because and then keep us informed too with like your progress and stuff. Okay. I'm not joking. Lee, I am going to push you to do feet pictures. You and I, we're going to give this a try. So, anyways, again, I apologize.
Yeah.
Thank you again for coming all the way out here.
Of course.
At some point, I am going to have a talk with this Reverend dude because this really pisses me the fuck off. So, anyway, stay tuned for part 2, and I apologize to anyone who loves watching our show that I have to cut this short. So,
yeah, no worries.
Thank you, Bree.
Yeah,
thank you.
Okay.